you 3-4 years away from possibly feeling like you could make that transition to heavyweight, or are you content to just remain in the cruiserweight division?
Как вы рассматриваете, потому что крузер дивизия не такая большая, и вы думаете, что где-то в течение 2-3 лет будете переходить в тяжи?
Как только я объединю все поединки, стану абсолютным чемпионом мира в cruiserweight, я сразу ломанусь в heavyweight.
As soon as I'm gonna get all the titles in the cruiserweight, the same minute I'm gonna be going into the heavyweight division.
And you're confident you can make that transition rather easily in a couple of years?
Ты думаешь, что спокойно можешь перейти в тяжи?
Я боксировал в тяжах.
I already was boxing as a super heavyweight.
Okay,
Для того, чтобы быть, я сейчас на данный момент вешу 95 килограмм, да, еще набрать 5 килограмм это не проблема. Мухаммед Али в свои лучшие годы весил 96-97 килограмм, так что тут нет никакой большой проблемы.
My natural weight right now is like 95, and to get me another 5 kilos, it's not a big deal. Muhammad Ali used to, in his prime, he used to be like 96 kilos.
Why didn't you just start as a heavyweight then?
Почему ты не начал как тяж сразу?
Вот захотелось в крузерах сначала начать. Это профессиональный бокс, тут надо постепенно, step by step.
This is a professional boxing, so you need to go step by step. That's why I decided to go in the cruiserweight, because it's not, I don't have even to do a weight. So.
Since winning the title, who besides the next opponent does he think is most formidable in the division?
После того, когда ты выиграл титул, несмотря на это мужчину, кто ты думаешь, еще есть какие-то имена в крузерах, которых могут побоксировать?
Да, это представитель России Денис Лебедев, хороший парень, да, у него 2 пояса, англичанин Тони Белью. Там есть парни, с которыми можно побоксировать, и я думаю, что с ними нужно боксировать.
Yeah, I think that like Denis Lebedev, he holds the 2 titles. The guy in England, Tony Bellew, he holds a title. I think there is a bunch of guys who not I want, but I need to fight them.
What are your thoughts about the fight between Denis Lebedev and Murat Gassiev this weekend? How do you see that matchup playing out, and are you interested in fighting the winner next year if you can get it?
Как ты видишь этот матч между Лебедевым и Гасаевым? Ты хотел бы ли ты боксировать победителем?
Да, я очень бы хотел боксировать с победителем, но я думаю, что это невозможно, потому что у них там какие-то защиты, еще что-то. Но я бы с удовольствием побоксировал бы с победителем.
Yes, of course, I would like to fight. The winner of that match, but I don't think it's going to happen because they are on paper set up for rematches or out matches, so it's not going to happen in the near future. But yes, of course, I would love to fight one of them.
When you traveled to Poland to fight against Głowacki, were you surprised at your performance, at how easily you dominated the fight?
Когда ты поехал в Гловацкого боксировать в Польшу, ты был как-то удивлен, как легко тебе это удалось сделать?
Мне не было совсем легко. Мне кажется, что им кажется, что это было легко. Я очень много проделал работы для того, чтобы это так казалось, но легко я не думаю, что мне было легко.
I don't think it was very easy for me. Maybe it looked easy, but I did a lot of work to make look like that.
You mentioned that Roy Jones is somebody that you enjoyed watching. Leading up to your fight, Roy Jones has been fighting at cruiser, and he expressed interest in fighting the winner of your fight against Głowacki, which was obviously you. Did you know that, and what do you think about that when you hear someone like Roy Jones Jr., even though he's later in his career, would be interested in fighting against you?
Ты сказал, что ты наблюдал, один из твоих кумиров был Рой Джонс. Когда вы ехали в Польшу, боксировали Гловацкого, Рой Джонс сказал, что он бы хотел, так как он уже тоже крузер считается, он выразил свои мысли и желания, что он хотел бы боксировать победителя этого боя. Ты об этом слышал, и какое твое мнение было, что такой, как твой бывший кумир Рой Джонс, выразил желание боксировать победителя?
Нет, я такого не слышал, но я не хочу боксировать с Рой Джонсом, потому что я слишком уважаю его. Ну, мне на данный момент, как бы, я его побью, а я этого не хочу делать.
No, I haven't heard about that, but with all respect to Roy Jones, I don't want to fight him just because I have a very big respect. I know I can beat him badly, and I don't want to do that.
You were fighting the heavyweight in the Olympics and you won gold. What went into your decision as a pro to fight as a cruiserweight?
Ты уже в любителях боксировал на Олимпиаде как супер тяж. И почему вот это решение было твое принято, чтобы пойти в крузера?
Нет, я на Олимпиаде боксировал в крузервейте.
I was fighting in Olympics as a cruiserweight, not a super.
91 kilograms.
91 kilos.
Maybe it is
super heavyweight.
VSB series boxing.
He was at the WSB series, World Series boxing. He fought there as a heavyweight. But in Olympics they don't call it cruiserweight, they call it heavyweight and then super heavyweight.
Yeah, heavyweight is 201 pounds.
That's a cruiser.
Yeah, which is a cruiserweight,
Yeah.
right.
You can speak a little English. Is it your goal to be able to speak English within the next couple of years?
Говорит, ты уже немножко по-английски понимаешь, говоришь, что для тебя как бы в целях выучить английский, говорить по-английски.
Конечно, я учу английский, это одна из целей. Моя мама мне говорила: Сашенька, учи английский. Я говорил: зачем он мне не пригодится. Я хочу сказать, что мама, прости, он мне очень нужен. Конечно, я его учу, и это нужно.
Yes, of course, this is one of my big goals, to learn English. My mom used to say, Sasha, you need to learn English, and I was telling to her, no, why do I need English? For what reason? I don't need English. But now I wanted to say, Mama, I'm very sorry. You were completely right.
Egis, can you ask him how closely did he monitor the American success of Kovalev and Golovkin, and how much did that influence him in signing with you as a manager?
Как ты наблюдал карьеру Сергея Ковалева, Головкина, и каким решением ты выбрал, что я должен быть у тебя менеджером?
And K2 Promotions.
И как бы промоушен.
Ну, изначально мы приехали к тебе, общались, да. Вообще, нужно сказать одной фразой: хочешь быть лучшим, работай с лучшими.
In the beginning, we came to see you, me as Egis, in the very beginning. But in a one sentence, I want to say, if you want to be the best, you have to work with the best.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ask him what his life was like as a kid growing up in Ukraine? Was it hard? Was it easy? What kind of life was that?
Можешь немножко рассказать про свое детство на Украине, когда ты рос? Было тяжело, было легко? Как бы немножко про себя.
Совсем не легко было. Обычная рабочая семья была особо. Ну, изначально занимался футболом, но не было денег, чтобы платить за футбол. И когда я пошел на бокс и сказал маме, что мамулечка, я сделаю все вот этими руками, чтобы у нас были денежки, чтобы ты не работала.
It was a pretty hard life, working family. I started when I was a kid. I started soccer, but soccer took some. To play soccer, you need to pay money for it, to buy everything. And then when I was 15 years old, I turned into boxing, and I told my mother, I said, "Mom, don't worry about it. With these two hands, I'm going to make a pretty good living for all the family."
Talked a lot about Kovalev and Golovkin mirroring their path over here to America. Is it part of the long-term plan to possibly relocate to the United States and do training here permanently or anything like that?
I'm here, I can interpret for him if you want.
I'll see you guys later.
I'm gonna jump into my question time.
Perfect time.
Смотря на карьеру Ковалева, Головкина и то, что они уже как бы здесь постоянно находятся, думаешь, что может, когда и у тебя будет такая цель, возможность, желание переехать сюда, перебраться сюда в Америку?
Да, я думаю, что да. Почему? Потому что у меня есть детки, и здесь хорошо, здесь тепло. Мне нравится, что здесь не нужно покупать очень теплую одежду, и здесь солнце. Мне это нравится.
Yes, I have already in my mind to relocate here.
Моя дочь говорит, что она уже собирается жить в Америке.
My little daughter is already saying I'm preparing to go to live in the United States, but before he said I like very much here. It's very warm here, and I like here because I don't have to buy warm clothes.
How you can explain that nowadays in boxing, a boxer can become a world champion in 6 or 10 fights, opposite to the past, not so many years ago when you needed 30, 40, or 50 fights to become a champion? Why is that happening nowadays in boxing?
That's probably the question would be to promoters.
Yeah, I could maybe jump in on that. I think it's a very unique situation that Oleksandr won a world title in his 10th fight. He fought arguably the best cruiserweight in the division. Głowacki knocked out Marco Huck here in the United States. And Oleksandr went to Poland and beat him in his home country. It's very rare examples. You see Lomachenko that Egis also works with. I mean, those are just very unique fighters that can win a world title with such few fights. Typically, it's still, 20, maybe 30 world title fights. But if you have a special talent like Oleksandr, like Lomachenko, those are just rare fighters that are unique examples.
But
Tom, do you want to move him the way you moved Golovkin, in that fight him as often as possible? And if so, how many fights would be in the United States?
Well, this is the first step, similar to what we did with Gennady, is having him here fight in Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the world. You see with Oleksandr, you'll see his character come out in the ring. He's got 9 knockouts in 10 fights, very exciting in the ring, but also very remarkable outside the ring. So it was great timing that we could have him open up the HBO telecast on December 17th, whereas Bernard's last fight on HBO, or his last fight in his career, and Oleksandr's first fight on HBO, is kind of like a presenting him to the American audience. Gennady was a champion also when he came over here. Oleksandr just won the world title. And it would be a similar plan where if he's successful here in Los Angeles, then bring him to New York. And I think he has a similar ability or marketability like Gennady, where we can build him into a ticket seller in the 2 biggest markets and then just see what happens. I'm not sure exactly what Egis spoke about in the beginning, but we have to give Peter Nelson a lot of credit. He's really the one that pushed for Gennady to be on HBO. He's the one that pushed for Chocolatito, who's normally, HBO hasn't shown a 112-pound flyweight for a long time. And the same thing with Usyk. He's a cruiserweight, and HBO really hasn't shown a cruiserweight fight for a long time. So we give him a lot of credit, and HBO a lot of credit for the vision of a division that hasn't been so popular here in America, putting Oleksandr on just based on his talent and his marketability. He won the gold medal in London. He just won, he beat Evander Holyfield's record of 12 fights, winning a world title. He won it in 10 fights. And I think the future is wide open for
Do you
him.
get the feel that HBO is interested in repeat appearances, not just like a one-off or whatever, but like there's...
Well, just like with Gennady, and just like with every fighter, he's got to prove it in the ring. But I think after December 17th, and he's not fighting an easy guy. His first title defense, he's fighting Machuno.
Yeah.
You know, Machuno's promoted by Kathy Duba in main events. He's a very slick fighter. He's a southpaw. He's short. He's a great boxer. And to have him as the first title defense is a big statement for Usyk. First, he's going to Głowacki's home country and winning the title. Then he's going to fight Machuno in his first title defense. And if he performs well, then there have been discussions, or there are ongoing discussions with HBO that he'll have regular appearances on
With Golovkin, sometimes, you know, after his HBO pro debut, sometimes he fought in Monaco and it was off HBO. Would the same thing happen with Usyk if you couldn't find an HBO date? Have him fight outside of the U.S. or just off HBO?
Well, the plan is, and you can really ask Oleksandr this, but you know, we have to give a lot of acknowledgement to Oleksandr Usyk, he runs K2 Ukraine, and he's the one that signed the contract, promotional contract with Usyk. He gave him his first 9 fights. He's the one that positioned him as a mandatory for the WBO. It wasn't by choice that Głowacki fought Usyk. It was a mandatory situation. But my understanding from Oleksandr is that he wants to premiere him here in America, but also not lose contact with the Ukrainian fans. He's become a hero in Ukraine, winning the gold medal and now winning a title. And he's a hero in Ukraine, and they don't want to lose that contact.
You mentioned in New York, and the calendar would seem to set up, if you can get the Gennady fight in March at MSG, he could be part of it then. Is there any update on that, how that's coming along?
That would be a goal. Once we can finalize Gennady's fight, it would be a goal to feature Oleksandr on that show as well, and that goes along with the question that Doug asked, is also to bring him to New York and bring him to Madison Square Garden. But it's one step at a time. He's got to win on December 17th. We have to finalize the Golovkin show, but that, in an ideal situation, that would be the next step, and that would give him 2 title defenses in a relatively short period of time. That would also be on HBO and featured here in the U.S. market, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
So Tom, you want to share any news with our good friends, just between us?
Just between
Against Jacobs? I mean, we'll just keep it here, though.
No one's listening, right?
Everyone turn off your tape recorder.
Well, yeah, we'll text each other and talk about it.
No, it's just it's ongoing discussions. I will say that the WBA sent a letter out today that giving us a 7-day deadline to have contracts in for the
starting today.
Jacobs fight, yeah.
From 7 days from today. Okay.
Why did they drag their feet so long on the whole purse split issue? Why did they keep you guys hanging?
The WBA or
Jacobs? With the Golovkin and Jacobs fight.
I guess that's a question for the WBA. I don't know. It's always a touchy situation. Gennady has made so many title defenses. And Jacobs had won the regular title, and made, I think it was 4 title defenses, and so they had asked for a purse split change, and we supported the WBA's position that Golovkin has made so many different titles.
Back to Oleksandr. Part of what sent Gennady's popularity through the roof while he was coming up is he described his style as Mexican style. How would Oleksandr describe his style, and how would you guys describe his style?
Какой у меня стиль?
Игровой.
Я же играю. Я же игрок.
I'm a player.
Я и есть игра. Когда говорят о игре, я и есть игра.
When you talk about the playing, I am a player. I'm a player in the ring. I can, just to let you know, just my opinion, he can be aggressive, he has a lot of, he can fake his opponent, his footwork is really tremendous good. He can punch, so he's a unique fighter.
For a guy his size, he moves, like Egis said, he moves very well, and yet he still has that excitement factor of having knockouts.
Speed.
And speed for his size. And I think the interesting thing about Oleksandr is you never want to put the cart before the horse, but because of his technical skills and his amateur background and the way he's progressed in the professionals and his size and his frame is you could see him, you know, make the transition to a heavyweight. And I think that's what people are excited
We
about.
spoke about that.
Since working with James Bashir, how much has that helped his growth and development?
Bashir.
Башир,
Сколько я с ним работаю?
Да, ну, как он тебе помог с того момента, как вы начали работать с ним?
Блин, надо что придумать, особо никак не помню. Ну, сотрудничаем, показывают какие-то штуки.
No, we work together, and I know he's bringing something new, and you know, just like a regular trainer. I don't think you can add much, and I'm going to put my 5 cents into it. You know, these guys coming with 300 plus amateur fights. I don't think the trainer can add much into it. And like for example, it probably would be the big mistake for the trainer to change something in the fighting. I think the trainer needs to understand when they're taking this kind of talent with so many fights, all they need to do just use their talents and to add little bit something into it. But if they want to try to change him right now in a orthodox, I'm not, but I mean right-handed style. It's impossible because his whole life he's a lefty. So now to do the big changes, you're just gonna ruin a guy. So I think that's what it needs to be done. The trainer needs to understand what it can't be changes. You can just take his talent and add a little bit.
My question is, working with James Bashir, is that something that is comfortable with him right now?
Well, I think he's comfortable because he's still with him for 3 years. You know, they started as a then he turned a pro. He's a guy who started him training, and you know, being with him for 3 years. I think he's comfortable. If he's not going to be comfortable, then we're going to see some changes in the future. Then we're going to ask that question.
Egis, speaking of changes, people are asking on Twitter for Egis, for your fighter, why did he change his distinctive hairstyle?
Почему ты меняешь часто прическу?
Почему я меняю прическу? Блин, я очень непредсказуемый парень.
I'm a very, well, unguessable guy.
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable, exactly, yeah, unpredictable.
Ah, so it's like Janet Jackson's gonna change her hairstyle in a couple months. I get that.
See, now he's got the Hollywood look.
Now, you might get a flat top next time. Okay, I get it.
Just don't do dreads like Paulie Malignaggi did that one time.
Tom, you've all seen
No,
how good
he's very religious and
You've all seen how good
far away
Vasil
from
has become.
drinking.
Talent-wise, from what you've seen, how
Don't
good
even
he's
talk about the
gotten.
drug. He's an anti-drug guy.
Robert, I think you know, each one of the fighters that you've described, whether it's Gennady, whether it's Lomachenko, whether it's Kovalev, whether it's Usyk, each one has their own qualities, but each one are very special fighters in their own right. And I mean, he's got the talent level, like Egis said, he's got the talent level from the amateur experience that really the sky's the limit. He's not afraid to fight anybody. He'll take on any challenge in the cruiserweight division. And he's not afraid also to go where the fights are. Cruiserweight division typically is stronger in Europe. There's a great fight coming up now on Saturday between Lebedev and Gassiev in Moscow. So, you know, there's a lot of talent. The cruiserweight division is kind of overlooked here in the States, but you got Tony Bellew in the UK. You know, there's a lot of, it's a very deep division. And I think there's a lot of talent, and that's what'll bring out the best in Usyk. And I think he's kind of, wouldn't say the sleeper because he's a world champion now, but he's the latest guy to come over that hasn't been really gotten a lot of exposure here in America. But we're going to look to change all that in December, and hopefully in March if everything works out.
Tom, but that's I know that there is a commitment to Oleksandr Usyk from HBO. That also means committing to a whole division, the cruiserweights. And I think we've all seen that they have not traditionally made a commitment towards that weight class. Has Peter kind of said to you that that is a possibility?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same going back to the example of Chocolatito. They hadn't made a commitment to the flyweight division either. So, you know, featuring Chocolatito on their shows, it's just a matter of matching him up against the best available talent. And it'll be the same thing with Oleksandr, just matching up some great opponents and taking it from there. And you're really looking at the talent and the marketability, not necessarily the division.
Tom, following up on that, is the plan to try to bring some of those great cruiserweight matchups here to the States for HBO to feature them, or to take HBO maybe over to Europe or to Ukraine to some of those great matchups?
Either way, whatever works out the best. You know, if we can work out the financial situation to bring, you know, a great matchup here, that would naturally that would be an ideal situation. But just like he went to Poland to win the title, you know, if there's a big fight in the UK against Bellew, for example, then he'll have no problem going over there. And then, you know, that would be arguably a matchup that HBO would be interested in televising as well.
Because you've been really successful at finding talent overseas and bringing them here to Southern California. With so much talent in your stable now, all relocating here, do you have plans in the future of maybe to develop maybe amateurs, like create like a compound?